Okay, just got finished seeing the Sonic movie, the Sonic 3V, the Sonic Through V. Literally walking out of the theater, like as we speak. Really stupid mistake on my part. I accidentally bought tickets to the wrong theater, so I had to buy tickets just walking in. I missed like the first 30 minutes, but I don't think seeing those first 30 minutes would change my opinion about the movie. It was probably less than that, but I missed like the race at the beginning. Everything I missed was already like preview clips they posted online anyway. I missed like the race at the beginning, and I missed the fight in Tokyo, the fight with Shadow in Tokyo, both of which are already online and which we already saw before the movie was even released. So, like, I walked in as like Sonic was waking up in handcuffs. I'll probably just pull like a cam rip offline, online, and watch the first part of the movie just to be fair. And I'll edit in, or I'll see it again. I'm probably gonna see it again. I'll edit in what my reaction to that was. Again, I don't think it's gonna change my opinion. Movie was bad. I didn't like it. Here's my spoiler free. It was bad, and also I didn't like it. Both of those two separate things at the same time. Because guess what? A movie can be bad and I can still like it. But it was bad and also I didn't like it. It was literally the same movie as Sonic 2. That's my spoiler-free review. It's the same movie. It's just Sonic 2 again. They just made the same movie. It's the same exact movie. If you saw my video on Sonic 2, that's it. That's my exact opinion. Like, there's no differences in how the movies are made at all. It's literally the same movie. They just made the same movie again. So that's my spoiler-free review. It was bad and I didn't like it. Fucking shit. Fucking pissed me off so much. Like, it's the same. My feelings on it are the same as my feelings in Sonic 2. Like, it had... Because here's the thing. Like, there were things about it that I liked. There were things in the movie that I liked. It had high highs and low lows. Like, the lowest lows. The lows were lower than the lows. It's like they keep getting more every movie. Like, the lows were lower than the lows in Sonic 2, and the highs were probably the same high. Like, actually, like, there wasn't that much that I liked, to be honest, all things considered. There was probably... Actually, it was probably the same amount. It was probably the same amount that I liked in this as what I liked in Sonic 2. Because what did I like in Sonic 2? Like, I liked the owls versus the echidnas, like, lore. I liked how they changed the Chaos Emerald and the Master Emerald to be related to each other. I thought that, like, and that's the thing, the movies don't have to be exactly 100% the same as what the games are. Like, they can be different, and there were things in this movie that were different, which I didn't have a problem with. It doesn't have to be exactly 100% the same. No. So, like, I don't know. I'm just going to start talking about spoilers. I didn't like it. It was bad. But I will be fair and first talk about things that I liked. Because it's not going to take that long. I really liked Maria. I'm going into full spoilers. I thought Maria was really good. I thought every scene with Maria in it was pretty good. I thought it was really, like, oh my god. I should just go, like, I can't even go chronologically on this because I missed the beginning. God, there's it literally just doesn't even work as a movie. God, anyway. I liked Maria. Maria was really cute. I thought the whole flashback scene with her meeting Shadow and drawing on the tube, like, she saw Shadow floating in a tube, and he's like, he's Shadow. And she was like, you're Shadow. Like, she scowled, like, she, like, is like, like, she does a little, like, funny, like, imitation of his scowl. She was really good. She was really good. If there's one thing I can't complain about with this movie, it was Maria. Maria was really good in this movie. And then she pulls out, like, a marker, and she draws on the test tube, and, like, draws a cartoon face over Shadow inside the test tube, and he's like, what the fuck? And then, like, there's this whole little montage of them being cute together and being Shadow and Maria, and it's really adorable. That was great. Honestly, nothing bad to say about any scene that had Maria in it. I have something not positive to say about... Okay, we're in spoiler territory. Maria doesn't get shot. Ha! Fucking told you. I hope all you fucking assholes who are like, oh yeah, the 12-year-old's gonna get shot with a gun. I hope you'll all have the integrity to be upset that she didn't get shot. Fucking told your ass. Fucking called it. Fucking called it that she wasn't gonna get shot. Fucking knew that wasn't gonna happen. She does not get shot. They accidentally shoot like an explosive barrel from a video game, and the explosive barrel blows up, and that's what kills her. She does not get shot with a bullet and gun and die. Hold on. Shoe. Need to tie my shoe. There. I liked Maria. Maria was good. I thought the whole flashback scene with Maria was really good, except for all the parts where Keanu Reeves was talking, because holy shit, he can't act. Like, I don't know, like, look, I know the internet, like, is, oh yay, Keanu. The internet's, like, pretending that they like Keanu Reeves for some reason. The dude can't fucking act. He never could act. I want you to tell me one movie you've seen where Keanu Reeves was a good actor in it. Yeah, exactly. Like, John Wick isn't good because of Keanu Reeves' acting. The Matrix isn't good because of Keanu Reeves' acting. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is probably his best performance to date. Excellent. If Shadow had said excellent even once, I would have given this movie an extra point, by the way. He did not. Shadow was really bad. Like, all of the fucking lines of dialogue from Shadow. Like, and so the words he was saying, those weren't his fault. He didn't write the dialogue that he was given to read, and all of the dialogue was awful, but his performance was really fucking bad too. There's a scene where, like, oh, that's the other thing that I liked is at the ending, Shadow and Sonic both go super, and then they fight, and I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. I'm actually, like, so down for that. Or it's like 10 p.m. and I'm walking home from the city, so I'm like, ooh, I really hope I don't get stabbed as I'm walking home. There was a Super Sonic, Super Shadow fight scene in this movie, and, like, that's actually really cool. We've never really seen that. That's actually a really interesting idea. Like, and the way they fought was really cool. Like, they fought like, you know, fucking Super Saiyans, basically. Like, they were punching each other across continents, and they were going to, like, different locations across the globe. I thought it was really cool. I actually did really like the fight scene. I like the fighting between Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Problem was, they kept stopping the fight in order to have badly written dialogue with each other, and they kept stopping the fight to go and show Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. That's so much of this movie, by the way. So much of this movie is just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and none of it is funny. That's like easily half an hour of this movie, if not more, is just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and it's fucking awful, dude. But I'm trying to still talk about things that I liked. liked every scene with Maria, and I liked what little of it there was. I liked the fight scene between Supersonic and Super Shadow. I thought those were good. I could pick out, like, Maria, the whole scene with Maria was just good. Like, just good, no asterisks. The scene where they're, like, talking on the roof, and they're like, yeah, stars are cool. Like, all of that was really good. Every single scene with Maria was really good. And I can extract nuggets of gold out of the shit when it comes to the fight scene between Supersonic and Super Shadow. The fight scene between Supersonic and Super Shadow was not perfect. There was a lot of bad around it, but I can, like, there was good parts about it. Oh, and I'm willing, I don't know how much the cars driving by are, like, ruining this. I can admit when I'm wrong. I can eat crow. Live and Learn was in the movie. Okay. I was saying it's not going to be in the movie, like, at all. I was wrong. Straight up, no cap, no asterisks, Live and Learn was in the movie. Okay? There was the guitar sting, there was the guitar, and there was the, yeah, Live and Learn. Like, it was genuinely in the movie. However, it was only in the movie for 10 seconds. And it was interrupted by scenes of Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. They stopped Live and Learn and cut to Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. And then they cut back to Sonic and Shadow. And then, like, a guitar riff from Live and Learn was playing over it. So, like, there was a scene of Sonic and Shadow being like, okay, let's do it. That whole scene was fucking awful, by the way. Where Sonic was like, okay, Shadow, we're friends now, and we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna be Super Sonic and Super Shadow together, and do the thing together. And then, yeah, Live and Learn! And then it stops, and it goes to Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and it was awful. And then it cuts back to Sonic and Shadow flying through space, and be like, okay, let's do this. Yeah. Like, it was fucking so stupid. But I said Live and Learn wouldn't be in the movie at all, in any form, and I was wrong. It was in the movie. Okay. I admit it. I called that shot totally wrong. Anyway. So that's it. That's really... I liked Maria, and I liked Supersonic versus Super Shadow, and I was wrong. Live and Learn was in the movie. It was a very neutered form of being in the movie, but it was in the movie. Okay. So that's 2 positives and an I'm wrong. So the rest of the movie was fucking awful. I'll find a way to see the scenes that I missed. And I'll edit those in right here. Okay, back from seeing it a second time. Still bad. and honestly, I hate it even more the second time. Perhaps even because the movie was bad, but also maybe because the theater experience is just awful. I hate fucking seeing movies in the movie theater. I miss the pandemic so bad. Seeing, like, when I saw it the first time, the theater was basically empty. This time it was a lot more packed. There were more people in the theater with me, and God, did that just make it like 600 times worse, all these fucking people. Especially, like, when Maria died, there were some guys in the theater who, like, cheered really, really loudly, like, really obnoxiously loudly when, like, Maria's death scene happened. Like, it was really embarrassing. There was this old guy sitting in front of me, and when they were cheering, he literally, like, muttered, like, shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ, dude. So yeah, like, so I saw the whole movie this time. I saw the beginning. In the beginning, it opens on Prison Island, and Shadow, like, wakes up and breaks out. The implication is that like Gerald hacked the system and implanted memories into Shadow's head to wake him up somehow. It's just this like boring action scene interrupted with bad humor. And then Shadow breaks out and like goes to Tokyo because the secret prison island base was off the coast of Tokyo for some reason. Then it goes into they're gonna have the race, and then after like the race scene is finished, it's like, oh, it's your birthday, it's your B Earth Day, it's the celebration of the day you came to Earth. And it makes me remember, like, hey, it's really weird and dumb that Tails is living with the Wachowskis, because the second movie did not say that Tails was an orphan or anything like that. And he did have a home, like with a TV and a chair in it that he was watching Sonic on. So, like, he had a home. Why is he living with these people for no reason? It doesn't make any sense. And then they find like the cave from the first movie, and he drew a little crayon drawing on the wall of Longclaw. And then this movie is exactly the same as the fucking second movie, by the way. Like, the opening scene is like a little action scene, a little action comedy scene with the villain. Then it introduces Sonic running really fast, doing some kind of like opening actiony establishing scene of Sonic. Then Sonic has like a heart-to-heart scene with Tom, where Tom tells him, you're gonna be a gay baby, and like he tells him words of wisdom that will be reincorporated later in the film. It's literally exactly the same. Like, he's in the cave with Tom, and he tells him, you're gonna be a gay baby. And like Sonic tells that to Shadow at the end of the movie, just like how he told Knuckles what Tom told him in Sonic 2 at the end of that movie. It's literally the same fucking movie. Then the skinny white bitch shows up like in a helicopter and is like, Tom, Maddie, aliens. And Sonic and Tails and Knuckles are like, oh, how offensive. How could you call us aliens? No, wait, yeah, we are from another planet. So yeah, we are aliens. Never mind. And like, that's it. Like, there's no other like, I didn't miss anything. The fact that Sonic and like I get into it more, the fact that Sonic is like mistrusting of Gun and wants to steal the key from them later literally makes no sense, and there is no explanation for it. Like, she just kind of goes like, ew, aliens, and that's it. Like, she's not established as a villain or a problem element for Sonic in any way. Sonic being distrusting of Gun through the rest of the movie doesn't make any fucking sense. Although Sonic agreeing to work for Gun in the first place also doesn't make any sense, but anyway. So then they fly in the helicopter to Tokyo. Really good time, by the way, flying from Montana to Tokyo in like less than an hour in a helicopter. Okay. Shadow's like in Tokyo causing trouble because he's like, it's been 50 years. I'm all wet. And then Gun shows up, and then he has an action scene where he beats them up. And it's kind of like, it makes you go like, oh, Shadow actually isn't causing any problems. Gun is the one who are chasing him down. What was the plot of the movie if Gun just kind of like left Shadow alone? Because Commander Walters is in charge of Gun, and he's awake at this point in time, and he knows Shadow broke out, and like, he knows Shadow's not bad. So why did Commander Walters order Gun to go after Shadow and like attack him with guns? Why didn't Commander Walters just go, you know what, leave him alone, he's fine? Or why didn't Commander Walters like try and go and confront Shadow himself? I mean, like, hey Shadow, I know you're probably mad at me, but like, give me a second and I'll talk, and we can talk maybe? No, he sent, like, Commander Walters, the Olive Garden guy, sends armed soldiers after Shadow in the middle of a city, even though Commander Walters knows that Shadow's not a bad guy. So it actually doesn't make... Nothing in this movie makes any sense. It's awful. So then, Sonic and them are flying in on the helicopter, and
Sonic says, "Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. We're out of here." And part of my soul dies. And then the scene from the trailer happens where they're like meeting Shadow in Tokyo, and then they have a fight scene. And then Shadow drives away on the motorcycle, and Sonic chases him. And Shadow does the Akira slide. Um, and then they punch each other, and the screen fades to black. And then when it comes back in, Sonic's handcuffed. So, like, I didn't miss anything. So, all of the other opinions I have from this point on, nothing's different. This movie's ass.
I'll edit in my feelings on those, but when I walked into the movie, they were sitting down in the Chow Garden in Tokyo. And boy, is that annoying. I hate that. What the fuck? Why is there a Chow Garden? Why is there a restaurant that's the Chow Garden? So here's what's really fucking retarded about the writing in this movie. Like, that scene actually exemplifies why the writing in this movie is so fucking awful. Because, like, an employee of the Chow Garden, it's like a Chuck E. Cheese cafe kind of place. And, like, an employee takes a picture of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And is like, okay, smile, and then the flash of the photography, the flash of the photo goes off, and Knuckles goes, oh shit, what was that? Whoa, we're under attack. Like, he doesn't know what the flash of a camera is. But then, some kid comes up and goes, hey, are you Detective Pikachu? To Tails. And I understood that reference, so therefore I think it was good, because I recognize what Pikachu is. Therefore, that's good, that it was in the movie. I clapped when I saw it. But the part that's retarded is Knuckles proceeds to go, haha, he is a Pokemon. Haha, he is that. So Knuckles doesn't know what the flash of a camera is, but he does know what a Pokemon is. He does know what Pikachu is, and he knows that Pikachu is a Pokemon. He recognizes Pikachu as a thing that exists, and he knows that Pikachu is a Pokemon, but he doesn't know what the flash of a camera is. It's just the characters know and do whatever the stupid, unfunny 40-year-old screenwriter thinks that children will find funny. And that's all characters know and do in this movie, is whatever, how do you do, fellow kids? Like, whatever a 40-year-old white guy thinks would be funny. Why the fuck would a Chuck E. Cheese cafe in Japan exist that's like, oh, the Chow Garden? Like, what the fuck are the Chow in this universe? Like, what's that based on? Is there, like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. That's just in the movie to be like, oh, you know what that is. People in real life who like Sonic, you know what Chow are, so it's in the movie. But, like, why does it exist in the movie? Like, Chow don't exist. Like, Sonic and everyone, they're all aliens. Like, in the universe of the Sonic movies, what are Chow? And why is there a Chuck E. Cheese cafe dedicated to Chow? Like, where did those designs come from? What? It's so retarded. Fuck it. Like, there's no thought put into the movie. It's literally just like, it's so artificial. Anyway, so they're at the fucking Chow Garden, and the fucking gun commander is like, oh, Sonic, Shadow's story's a lot like yours, but whereas you found family, he found heartache. And it's like, holy shit, the writing in this movie is fucking awful. What's subtext? I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. Fucking Christ. So, Shadow's backstory in the universe of the Sonic movies is that he's Venom from Spider-Man 3. From Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. He's literally just Venom. He's the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man 3. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3... Oh, there's a bus. Maybe I should get on it. Jesus. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, Venom is just like Mary Jane and Peter Parker are just chilling in Central Park watching the stars, and then over in the corner a meteorite crashes into the park and they don't notice, and then the Venom symbiote crawls out of the meteor and like attaches itself to Peter Parker. That's Shadow's backstory in this movie. Just a meteor crashed and Shadow was in it. That's it. He's literally just Venom from Spider-Man 3. It's so retarded. Shadow's literally like he was in this meteor crashed, this Black Arms meteor crashed into Earth in the 1970s or 50, whenever, I guess it must have been the 70s, right? And the government was like, oh fuck, there's some kind of thing in here, and so they took him and like experimented on him. We're like, oh, he's like he's got chaos energy. Oh my god, they said fucking chaos energy so many goddamn times in this fucking movie. Fucking pissed me off so much. He's got chaos energy. But then there was an accident and they sealed him away, and like that's when Maria dies, and they sealed him away. He was too dangerous to be left alive, but he was too valuable to kill, so they sealed him into the goo Sonic. It's retarded. So like I guess Shadow was sprung from the goo and then just fucked up Tokyo for no reason. Oh my god, like I can't imagine that the 26 minutes or so that I missed would lend more context to this character, but there's this one fucking character in the movie. So like they're in the Chow Garden and they're like, oh, Shadow's backstory is that he's the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man 3 Sonic. And then like Eggman robots attack the Chow Garden cafe, and the fucking gun commander, the Olive Garden guy, he dies. Kind of. I actually don't know. They didn't really loop back around to that. I guess the implication is that he might have survived, but they never really answer that question. Theoretically, he could have died, but I think the implication later is that he didn't die. But anyway, like he got fucked up. And he's like, Sonic, here, I'm giving you this key. And in retrospect, that doesn't make any sense. Why he did that, or why... Anyway, this movie's so fucking badly written. So this character comes in, like this character who's like a part of Gun. Like she's like a gun lieutenant of some kind. And she's like, ugh, I knew we couldn't trust them. They took the key because the gun commander who likes Olive Garden gave Sonic the key. And he's like, oh, you gotta keep it safe, Sonic. I only trust it with you. And it's like, why? Why do you trust it with Sonic? Why don't you trust it with your subordinate? Later in the movie, the subordinate, like, hands the key over to who she thinks is the gun commander. So it's not like she's mad with power. Like, there's no implication that Gun having both keys would be a bad thing. But then the movie treats Gun having the keys as a bad thing. It's very confusing, and it's hard for me to even break down what about it doesn't make sense. But anyway, this character who's like a gun lieutenant, she runs in and she's like, ugh, the key is gone. I knew we couldn't trust them. Fucking Sonic. And like this character gets no resolution, by the way. Like, what's her name? I don't even know, like, the actress or whatever. It's this weird white bitch. It's this weird, like, really skinny white bitch. But, like, she's like, I knew we couldn't trust them. And then, like, Sonic and Knuckles and Tails are running out of the Chow Garden with Chow heads on them for no reason. It doesn't make any sense why they were wearing those things. I guess just because the 40-year-old white dudes who wrote this movie thought children would find that funny. So they're running away and they're like, why are we running from Gun? Aren't we on the same side? And it's like, yeah. why are you running away from Gunn? You are on the same side. What the fuck? And Sonic's like, we can't trust anybody. And it's like, why not? What? Just for no reason? So then they chase the character who turns out to be Agent Stone, and he's like, yeah, those robots weren't sent by Jim Carrey. They were sent by someone else. So come on, let's go see Jim Carrey. And they go, oh God. They go and see Jim Carrey, and he's like wearing a fat suit for like 3 minutes. They really give up on that fat suit pretty fucking quickly, by the way. It's safe to cross. I'm going with yes. He's wearing that fat, like, so they walk in on Jim Carrey, and then this is when the movie just fucking dies. Because so much, literally it's like half an hour of this movie is just Jim Carrey being unfunny. And it's fucking so bad. So they come in, and like Jim Carrey is watching like a Spanish soap opera. And he's like in a fat suit, and he's eating burritos, and he like has a robot that poops out guacamole onto the burrito, and it's funny because Jim Carrey. And then he like plays bongos on his fat suit belly, and everyone's like, ew, gross, ew, grody. You know, I didn't 100% hate Jim Carrey as Eggman in these movies before. I didn't think he was good, but I didn't hate Jim Carrey as Eggman in these movies before. This movie, I fucking hated Jim Carrey as Eggman. It was so fucking bad. It was so bad, dude. Like, they ruined it. They ruined Eggman in this movie. It's so bad. There's literally a scene in this movie where Jim Carrey's Eggman gets down on his hands and knees and starts kissing Gerald Robotnik's feet. Like, holy shit, dude. It was so bad. And, like, that's the thing is, like, in the games, Eggman being fat isn't, like, a joke. Like, he's never made fun of for being fat. Like, other characters will be like, hi, you're fat. But he's like, yeah, fuck you. Eat my shit. I'm fucking Eggman. Like, he's not ashamed of being fat. It's not like, you can't use that against him because he's not ashamed of it, you know? He's proud, practically, of how fat he is. He certainly doesn't try and hide the fact that he's fat. But in this movie, they really just go like, you're fat. That's basically all that scene is. Going like, you're fat. Like, just for like 3 minutes. It's just like, you're fat, over and over and over and over and over again. He goes like, oh, I got man boobs. I got a big fat belly. You're so gross, robot stink. And he's so not funny. God, it's like crazy how much of this movie they're going like, oh yeah, Jim Carrey, yeah, you be funny, Jim Carrey. Look at Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Holy shit, he's fucking Jim Carrey. And it's like not funny at all. Like none of it is funny. Like I didn't even like smile. I didn't even like none of it's funny whatsoever. It's crazy how much of this movie, it seriously just never fucking ends. There's entire scenes in this movie where Jim Carrey is the only person and thing on screen, and he's like doing a bit, and it's not funny at all. It's just Ace Ventura, like all like, righty then. Like, it's just that. Just imagine Jim Carrey going, oh, righty then. Like, for 30 minutes, and that's what most of this movie is. Gee, it's like the percentage of this movie that's just Jim Carrey going, oh, righty then. is like the majority of this movie. Oh, okay, there was one other part of the movie that I liked. I'll get to that later. So then they're like, okay, well, someone hijacked Eggman's robots and used them. So now we gotta work with Eggman to find out who it is. Who unleashed Shadow? What's going on? We gotta work with Eggman to get to the bottom of this. And there's like this weird thing where Eggman's like, on one condition, and he holds out his hand, and Sonic's like, what's your problem? And then he gives him like his quill, and then he like does a weird Sour Patch Kids fucking thing with the quill. I'm home, yay. He does like a weird Sour Patch Kids thing with the fucking quill. And it's like, okay, now I'm gonna switch cameras. There's no cam rips of the movie online yet that I could find. Nothing on Pirate Bay, so I'll decide what I'm doing with that later. So then we're like, okay, we gotta team up. I'm doing my walking home from the theater review. Yes. It worked out surprisingly okay. I didn't get stabbed, which is the important thing.
It's true.
They're like, okay, we gotta work together with Eggman to find out what's going on. And it's like, why can't you work with Gunn, though? I thought you said you couldn't trust anybody, and that's the reason you didn't want to work with Gunn, but you can trust and work with Eggman? Writing in this movie is really bad. Like, here's the through line of the logic these characters are working with. We can't work with Gunn. We don't trust anybody right now until we find out what's going on with Shadow. Oh, Eggman? Yeah, we'll work with him. That can't possibly go wrong for us. Like, this movie, like, weirdly, like, posits, like, Gunn as this untrustworthy element that Sonic can't countenance, but it doesn't explain why. Maybe it was in the 30 minutes that I missed. Maybe it was in the 20 to 30 minutes that I missed where Sonic goes like, fuck everybody at Gunn except for the Olive Garden guy. I can trust him, but no one else. I can't imagine that actually would make any sense, but whatever. So then it has some scenes of Shadow looking really hot. I'll give him that. Shadow looks really fucking hot in this movie. Sounds like ass. Sounds like ass, but he sounds like Keanu Reeves, who cannot fucking act at all.
We know this already.
There's so many, like, almost every line of dialogue he says, and it's not 100% his fault, because the lines of dialogue that he has to say are bad. But he performs them badly. He's like that's when the flashback with Maria happens, and only good part of the movie. Maria
really?
was...
I think that's the one part they fuck up.
It's crazy. I was shocked. Like, here's the thing. Like, you could say, like, you wanted to hate it. And yes, I did want to hate this movie. And I got what I wanted. But when it flashed back, like, the Shadow's walking around the base... And he's like, oh, Sag, because he's Shadow. And he sees, like, a roller skate in the corner. And he's like, oh. And that's when the flashback starts. And it shows Maria juking, roller skating through, like, the secret government base.
Not advisable when you have AIDS.
They did not, maybe it was in the 20 minutes I missed, but they did not establish that Maria had AIDS in this movie. I don't think Maria was terminal. I think she was just a regular little girl. That was not part of the movie.
Chilling out
yeah, like, Shadow's backstory in this movie is that he's Venom from Spider-Man 3. From Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. He's the Venom symbiote.
Bad Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's literally like a meteor crashed and he was in it. It's literally just Venom from Spider-Man 3. So, like, there's no... Like, Shadow wasn't created by Gerald to cure Maria. None of that's... in the movie. They just found a guy from space. Like, he just crashed into Earth from space and they found him and they just like, okay, come with us. And I guess he was like, okay. Like, there's no... Like, it's pure happenstance. In the games, Gerald creates Shadow with the black arm... Like, they invented that later, but, like, with the black arm's DNA as a deal with the devil to try and cure Maria. And, like, there's this bond that Shadow and Maria have where Shadow was literally created for her. And, like, he was created to be powerful, but she gave him like belief. Heart, yeah, like she filled his heart with love. He was created with a heart by Gerald. His body was created to be a cure, but Gerald created him with a heart, but Maria filled that heart with love. And then he was supposed to cure her. That was the purpose of his creation, but then she died, and it's sad. But, like, Shadow carries her wish on. But in the movie, they just become, like, it's pure happenstance. Like, there's no reason for Maria to even be in the military base. Why is she there in the movie? In the fucking games, like, she's there because she's dying, and Gerald's trying to create the cure for her. But in the movie, she's just, like, they're just like, oh, that's the professor's granddaughter. He never goes anywhere without her. And she's roller skating around. And so, like, they take the roller skates off, and there's a scene of her walking around in socks, and I'm like, uh-oh. But she... like, I'm sorry, I'm so ruined by the internet that I saw a scene of a young girl walking around with in just her socks, and I went, oh no. Ugh. Need I remind you that this movie that the first Sonic movie had a fart scene.
It's true.
And I uploaded a clip of that. And it has a lot of views. Don't blame me for being aware of the internet. So anyway, that's when the scene happens of Maria going in and finding Shadow in the tube. He's floating in the tube. And she's like going up to him, and he's like turns around and he's like, oh, I'm Shadow. And he like scowls at her. And she she kind of like smiles at him. She kind of goes like she does like a fake mock scowl back at him. Like she's bemused. And then she takes out a magic marker and draws on the test tube that he's in, and draws like a bunny face. And he's like, what the fuck? Oh, kitty. And then they do the hand touch. I felt joy. I saw it, and I started smiling, and I started going like, okay. Okay, movie, you got me. And so then there's this adorable montage of Maria and Shadow palling around, hanging out, being buddies. Like, fucking, Shadow's having, like, procedures done on him, and Maria sneaks in and, like, gets him out and replaces him with a teddy bear, and they put all the little, like, science beat boops onto the teddy bear. And then like they're running through the base. He's tied up on a rope, and she's holding the rope, and he's running, and she's on her roller skates. And it's like, you might think, oh, she liked roller skates. That's the reason he's got the skate. No, he just had those. Like, you almost thought that there was gonna be, oh, she had skates.
You almost got there.
Oh, Maria had skates, so that means... No, he just had those. He just had those. He has the limiter rings, too. Those are also not established. In the games, I mean, they invented this very recently, so I can't give it too much credit, but in the games, Maria designed the air shoes and the limiter rings for Shadow.
You were almost there, man.
In the movie, he has the limiter rings. It is not established what they are or why he has them or why he would have them or where they came from. He just had them. He just landed in the meteor and he had them. And he had the air shoes. You almost thought, oh, Maria had skates. That's why they gave him skate. No, he just had those. But anyway, the scene was really cute of him like pulling her on the skates through the base, and then they crashed into a dessert tray. For some reason, the secret military base had a dessert tray, and like they fell in the dessert, and they started like making snow angels in the dessert. And I'm sure they probably got in trouble for that, but that was not shown in the montage. And like they're listening to bopping tunes, they're listening to 70s music and dancing, and Maria's dancing with Shadow, and it's like it's actually like super fucking cute. Like, every scene with Maria in it was really good. I actually quite enjoyed it. I'm pleasantly surprised that I really enjoyed Maria in this movie. You'd have thought that it would have been really bad. But it actually wasn't that bad. with Maria.
Who played Maria? Somebody?
I don't know, some white bitch.
That's
Some brunette white bitch.
interesting.
Which you'd think would be the one thing you would get, but
Maybe some hair dye.
yeah, like fucking the bitch from Game of Thrones didn't want to put contact lenses
Yeah.
in, but they gave her a wig. You can't give this girl a wig.
Fucking
Can't give her a blonde wig.
hire Daenerys.
Anyway, so then like they're watching a movie, and it's like Attack of the Space Monster Freak from Outer Space that targets your insecurities, Shadow the Hedgehog. That's the title of the movie. And Shadow goes like, oh, I feel really bad because I'm a freak from outer space. And Maria's like, So then she like takes him and like they go up onto the roof of the military base, which has flowers for some reason. And they're like, let's look at the stars. And that's actually, I enjoy this. And again, it doesn't have to be 100% the same thing as the video games, and I can still like it because it's like the video games.
It has to be good.
It has to be good. So Maria's laying down on the field of flowers, looking at the stars, and going like, man, stars are so cool. Space is awesome. And it's literally the opposite of Maria's scene from the game, where they're on the spaceship, looking at Earth, going, Shadow, what do you think it's like on Earth? Like, it's literally the fucking opposite, and I liked it. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the games. It can be different from the games, and I can still like it.
That's interesting.
It's the opposite, where she's going like, oh, space is cool. You know, my grandfather says that a star, like, it takes the light from stars so long to reach Earth that by the time we see the light of the star could be gone. And Shadow, and then Keanu Reeves says, the light from the star. The light exists even though the star is gone. Whoa.
Thanks for recapping that, Shadow.
The light exists even though the star is gone. Where's my check? Thank you. It's like, wow, the act. Every time Shadow opens his mouth, it's like, stop talking and keep sucking. Okay?
Wow.
He's really hot. It's actually super hot. He's actually like really hot in the movie, but man, turn off that voice.
Yes.
And then Shadow's like, I don't know where I'm from or what the deal is with me. I'm from space. And Maria's like, shut up, idiot.
You're from Chicago.
Yeah, like, no, yeah, she says, like, you're, like, I don't know where my home is. And Maria's like, your home's Earth. You can be whatever you want to be. Shit from the games. And it's like, yes, Maria, yes, that's what Maria says. This is authentic to the video games. And I like it. Yay. I like you, Maria, in the movie. Movie Maria. You're my favorite character in these movies, Movie Maria. Unlike the only good thing about this movie. Like, no asterisks. Only good thing about this movie. And then she touches his chest. And I go, oh yeah. Fucking touch the fluffy chest. She goes like, that's what matters. It's what's in here, touching his chest. And I'm going like, you go back, show the chest.
Shows boobies.
Show me his fucking tits. And then it cuts back to present day and Shadow's Sag. And he goes like, I'm Sag. And then Gerald Robotnik walks in because he's alive.
Oh, hey, what's up?
He's literally says, I'm 110 years old. He was just alive in captivity for 50 years.
See, that's an example of a no.
That's
Like,
an example of a bad.
No, that's an example of a no.
It was so bad, dude.
No. You know how you were just talking about, like...
You know how I was just talking about how Maria was really good?
Yeah.
Gerald was really bad.
Oh, no.
And it's so tragic because, like, he wasn't 100% bad. He was, like, 99% bad. But there was 1% where I was like, yeah, okay, that's Gerald. But, like, for 99% of the movie, it was really bad. And Gerald comes in and is like, hey, Shadow, I'm Gerald Robotnik. And Shadow's like, yeah. And so then Sonic and team show up. And Jim Carrey is like So not funny in this movie.
I thought he retired.
He's definitely retired after this one. No spoiler. Well, like, spoilers. We've already covered spoilers, but he's definitely not going to be in Sonic 4. He's definitely not going to be in Sonic 4.
I thought he retired after 2.
That would have been nice. So they show up and, like, it's not funny. It's just not. It's just characters talking to you. Sonic is the worst part of these movies. Like, Ben Schwartz is awful. Ben Schwartz is fucking awful in these movies.
Yeah.
Sonic is the worst part about this movie. And God, okay, that's too much. Jim Carrey's the worst part about this movie. Because there's so much of Jim Carrey in this movie. But, man, it's close. It's distressing how close it is. So then they're, like, going through the base, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy is just a treasure. Oh, I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for her and her career. Because she was in a movie, and she can put that on her reel. Good for her. Good for her, man. She talked in the movie, and I was like, oh, Colleen.
It's Tails.
It's Tails! So there's this awful scene where Agent Stone and Tails are, like, talking to each other. And, like, are they gonna ruin Agent Stone in this movie? They kind of did. But as I was watching the movie, I was like, wow, I don't even like Agent Stone. And yet it seems like they're going to ruin him. So, like, Agent Stone's like, what's it like being Sonic's assistant? And Tails' like, I'm not his assistant. But it's Colleen O'Shaughnessy, so it sounds good. I'm not his assistant. I'm his teammate. We're partners. And we're friends. Just like you and Eggman. And he's like, yeah, that's what we are. We're friends. And it's like, oh no, are you ruining Agent Stone? Like, Agent Stone was okay. I didn't not like him. I didn't like him, but I did not like him. Why are you ruining him like this? Like, the fact that he was cool with Jim Carrey treating him like shit was one of the better parts of his character. But this movie, like, tries to create, like, a character drama arc for him being like, oh no, I want Jim Carrey to like me back. Which is just stupid, because he didn't care about Jim Carrey liking him in the first two movies. He was okay with being mistreated and, like not being valued. That's what made his character interesting, is he was loyal to Jim Carrey despite being treated like shit by him. He was a loyal minion with, like, no higher aspirations, and that's what was cool about his character. But in this movie, they create this, like, drama arc of him being like, I want him to like me, and I'm sad that he doesn't like me. And it's like, fuck you! That's stupid! Oh, and then Knuckles is walking, he's like, I'm not scared of the ghosts. I watched Casper the Friendly Ghost and I was scared because there's no such thing as a friendly ghost. That's a real scene that happens. Is it goes like, oh, you're scared of ghosts? And Knuckles goes, I'm not scared of anything. And then Sonic goes, well, what about movie night? And then it flashes to them watching Casper the Friendly Ghost, and he's going, ghost, because Casper the Friendly Ghost is on the screen. And that's a real scene that happens in this movie, because this is a terrible, terrible, terrible bad movie. And then, like, Knuckles walking around being like, oh, I'm not scared. And then, like, he flashes his flashlight, and there's Shadow, and then Keanu Reeves says, boo. That's a real thing that happens in this movie, is Keanu Reeves saying boo.
Not even as Shadow.
No, it's just Keanu Reeves. Like, it's not even Shadow and CG. No. It's not even the CG model. It's just Keanu Reeves, and he goes, boo. It's fucking awful. Oh my god, and then they ruined Jim Carrey's Eggman in this too somehow. How do they ruin things that weren't good in the first place? So, like, there's a scene where where Sonic and Eggman, or Jim Carrey, are walking through this room, And Sonic's like, oh no, this was where Shadow lived, and he had a life and a home and a family, but then he lost it all, and that's sad. And then Jim Carrey is like, I don't care, I'm Jim Carrey. And then Sonic's like, well, what if you had a family, Jim Carrey? Wouldn't you be different? And then Jim Carrey's like, no, I didn't have parents or grandparents or uncles or brothers or anyone. I was alone, and no one thinks I'm attractive. And he literally says, due to my personality, I am found repulsive by all known genders. Woke movie bad. He says all known genders, woke movie bad. Anyway, and then Sonic goes like, but what if you had a family? Maybe you wouldn't have gone all supervillain. It's like, fuck off.
You know what Sonic would say.
Yeah. Like, that is such an awful scene, because it's awful Eggman and it's awful Sonic. God damn, it's so frustrating. Like, I don't like saying, oh, these movies are bad because people are gonna watch it and then have bad opinions about the video games because of the movie. I normally don't hold that against anything. I don't say like, oh, this is bad because people watched it and got the wrong idea. Like, that's not the movie's fault. That's people being stupid. I can't blame the movie for people being stupid. But holy shit, are people gonna be stupid because of this movie? People are gonna be fucking awful about Eggman because of this movie.
Yeah, I already know what you're...
They're literally gonna be like, oh, see, because of the movie, Eggman could have been a good guy, but he just didn't have a family who loved him. It's like, oh, that's gonna be really insufferable for a really long time now.
Yep.
Like, that's his whole character arc in the movie, is like, oh, families are dumb. Grandpapa? But then he learns that Grandpapa was bad and doesn't love him back, and he feels bad because Grandpa doesn't love him back. But then he realizes, I had someone who loved me back the whole time, and it was you, Agent Stone.
I thought you were gonna say Sonic.
No, thankfully not that. God, that's literally his whole character arc in the movie, is family dumb. Grandpa? Agent Stone. That's his whole character arc. And it's awful. And people are going to be awful about it. People are going to be fucking so insufferable about Eggman for so long because of this movie. Oh, fuck. I'm like bracing myself. God damn, it's gonna be bad. I have to warn Julian.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil him, but I have to warn him. I have to warn him somehow.
Through time.
Through time. Somehow I get through to you in time. Somehow I get to you in time. Anyway. So then, Shadow, like, captures them all, and he's like, I'm tired of giving you warnings. And I'm like, I guess that's a callback to a part of the scene that I missed. And then Gerald Robotnik walks in, and it's Jim Carrey acting against Jim Carrey.
He plays both?
Yeah, he plays...
Who is he, Eddie Murphy?
He's fucking... Ivo Robotnik. Ivo. Oh, that's gonna be so bad to deal with, too. He plays Ivo Robotnik. That's what I might start calling him. Instead of Jim Botnik, I might just start calling him EYEVO. I might just start calling him Ivo from now on. Ivo Robotnik and Gerald Robotnik. And so fucking Jim Carrey walks in a fat old suit. An old fat suit, and then Jim Carrey as Eggman is like, oh, what? And then Jim Carrey as Gerald is like, yes, in the saggy flesh. And it's just Jim Carrey being unfunny against Jim Carrey for like 2 to 3 solid minutes. And this is when the movie goes off the fucking cliff. Because easily, half an hour of this movie is just Jim Carrey not being funny. It's just Jim Carrey and nothing else on screen but Jim Carrey. And it's really bad. It's really bad. It's just Jim Carrey saying something that isn't funny, and then Jim Carrey responding to that with something that isn't funny. And it's like, okay, so they must have written this, right? Because in the first 2 movies, so much of it was like Jim Carrey improvs, right? Like, so much of Sonic 1 and 2 was Jim Carrey improvs. But how could they have done that in this movie if he's acting against himself? Did they write material for Jim Carrey? That's what I'm wondering. Because all of it is incredibly bad. And none of it is funny. Again, I was saying this on the way home. Just imagine half an hour of this movie is Jim Carrey going, alrighty then. And then the camera turns 180 degrees, and then the camera turns 180 degrees, and it's Jim Carrey going, alrighty then. And then the camera turns 180 degrees back, and it's Jim Carrey going, alrighty then. And none of it is funny. And, like, it's the ruination of Eggman, because he's going like, Grandpapa! And it's just them not being funny. And he's like, I was in prison for 50 years.
You know.
I'm 110 years old. I was in prison for 50 years. Establishing that Gerald Robotnik was 60 years old when Shadow was running around. Not gonna unpack that for now. I'll unpack it later on Christmas. So then Gerald's like, okay, join me because we're family. And now you have the family. It's literally, I'm not exaggerating. The dialogue in the movie is, and now you have the family that you always wanted, but never had before. But it's Jim Carrey saying it. So he's like, and now you have the family that you never had before. Hi. What are you doing? Yeah? What did you think about the movie? Excuse. So then they go in and fucking Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Agent Stone are all tied up. Shadow tied them up. And then, yeah, it was a little hot. And then there's this...
Should be me.
The graphics in this movie were really fucking bad, by the way. There's this awful-looking composite shot of Jim Carrey walking next to Jim Carrey as they're, like, walking down. And it's like, wow, I can see the seam. This is technology that we had perfected in the 90s.
Yes.
And somehow I can literally see the seam in between Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey. How do you fuck that up? And Sonic's like, oh no. Oh, there's 2 of you? They fly now?
They fly now.
That's just all of Sonic's dialogue in this movie. I'm like, pop culture references. Wiggity wiggity whack. Wiggity wiggity whack. Pop culture references. That's all of Ben Schwartz's fucking dialogue in this movie. And then Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey are like, yeah, we're evil. Fuck you. Bye, idiots. And Sonic looks at Shadow and goes like, Shadow, you don't have to let your pain change who you are. And Shadow's like, I've been reliving the pain for 50 years. The pain is who I am. And it's like, thanks,
It
Keanu.
takes a drag.
Yeah, thanks, Keanu. That was a great line read, Keanu. Awesome line read. And then he like makes a black hole device, and it's gonna suck them up and kill them with a black hole. And they're like, okay, well, we gotta get out of this. And so they do. Oh no, before that, they were like, and like Shadow's like, give me the key. And Song's like, do you really think we were so stupid that we brought the key? And yeah, they were. And it's like, hey, yeah, that's a good point. Why did you bring that? You could have not brought that. Why are you stupid? Anyway. And so then they're like, I'm going to pull out the ring. And he throws the ring. Trick shot. Like, maybe not the trick shot. Maybe just throw the ring. And then it's like this weirdly pointless, like dramatic thing. Like, oh no, are they going to get sucked into the black hole? Oh shit. The black hole looked awful, by the way. I can't believe how bad the graphics in this movie were. It's insane. There's like no excuse for why it looks that bad. So they almost get sucked up into the black hole, but then the ring opens just in the nick of time, and they go through the ring, and they're safe, and they didn't get sucked into the black hole. But the black hole sucks up the mountain, and they're like, yeah, I wanted to kill Sonic, but you killed him, Gerald. Good job killing Sonic, Gerald. And it's like, yeah, I'm Gerald. And it's like, thanks, Jim Carrey, you're awesome. So then they go to, like, they're gonna go get the other key to get the thing. I don't know why he explains his whole plan while in the room with Sonic, by the way. I feel like they could have waited. I feel like they didn't. What the fuck? That's such a Bond movie cliche. Like, he literally was like, here's what my plan is. Okay, bye, we're killing you now. Why didn't you wait until after you killed him to explain the plan so that they don't know what the plan is on the off chance that they got out of it so they can stop you? You fucking idiot. Oh, we're geniuses, though. Anyway. So then they're flying to England to get the thing that they need. They need 2 MacGuffins to do the thing. And so now we're flying to England in a crab, and we're making a lot of crab jokes and puns about the crab ship. And it's not funny, and it's really badly written.
Why England?
Because that's where the tax breaks are, I assume. Yeah, well, I was thinking that. Like, why England? It's really, like, for no reason.
Yeah.
It was really weird. Anyway, so I was like, we're gonna get there in 4 hours. What do you want to do? And then there's a montage of Jim Carrey with Jim Carrey. And it's Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey with Jim Carrey.
It was so good the first time.
And it's like, oh, Jim Carrey's dressing up in a costume and going trick-or-treating with his grandpa. And Jim Carrey's pretending to look in Christmas and see Jim Carrey dressed up as Santa. And he's happy. Oh, I'm living the childhood I never had, Jim Carrey. And then Agent Stone comes in and he sees Jim Carrey having fun of Jim Carrey. And he's like, oh, I feel bad. And he pours the coffee out into the trash can, and he feels bad because he's not included with Jim Carrey having fun of Jim Carrey. And it's like insufferable. It's like agonizingly bad. There's so many. It's like dispersed throughout the movie of Jim Carrey with Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and it's so bad for the entire thing. Like, every 10 minutes, it's Jim Carrey being unfunny. Just scenes of Jim Carrey and no one else is in the scene. It's just Jim Carrey. And it's not funny at all. Jesus Christ, dude. So then we get to the only other scene in the movie that made me kind of smile, which is it cuts back to the human and diversity vagina at home, and like they have empty nest syndrome because Sonic and Knuckles and Tails like left to go to Tokyo to fight Shadow and die in like 3 seconds. So it cuts back to them and they're alone in the house. And it's like, boy, look at us. It's so much more productive now that we don't have a bunch of crazy kids running around. Look at all these hobbies. I've taken up knitting and baking, and I've put together a house of cards. Empty nest syndrome, parents with empty nest syndrome, get it? What do we do now that the kids aren't here? Let's find some new hobbies. Here's all our new hobbies. I'm wearing a sweater. And then Sonic and Tails and Knuckles come in through a ring, and they're like, hey guys, we need your help to save the world. And then they both go like, yep, yeah, we're absolutely down for that. Awesome. Like, and I was like, that was it. That was the only other part of the movie that I liked. I liked the comedic timing of them being like, we're down, let's roll. And then they kind of ruin it by explaining the joke.
Yep.
Because modern Hollywood writing, like, really? You guys are fine with that? I thought you would have been having fun without us. And they're like, no, we were really bored. And it's like, good job ruining it. Good job ruining it by explaining the joke.
There it went.
Good job ruining it by explaining the joke, guys. That you had a funny joke, and it made me smile. Like, guys, we need your help to save the world. And they look at each other and go like, yep, let's go. We're down. Totally. And I was like, that was funny. Wow, I thought you guys would have been having fun without us. No, we were super bored. It's like, you ruined it. You ruined the only funny joke. You ruined the only funny joke in the movie that didn't have Maria in the scene. Good job. So then they have this awful scene. Like, there's so much of the movie that's just humans not being funny. Whenever it's not Jim Carrey not being funny, it's human and diversity vagina not being funny. And it's like, here's my ventriloquism puppet. Look at how not funny this is. That's the joke. Anyway. So they're like, okay, we gotta break into Gun's headquarters and get the key. And I'm sitting there going like, why don't you just tell them, hey, Eggman's gonna come get the key. We're friends, we're allies. We're on the same side. Why are you doing like a heist? Why are you doing like a heist against Gun? There has been no antagonism established. I'll eat crow on this if the first 20 minutes that I missed established that there was antagonism, but I don't think it did, because later they're in the base with Gun, and Gun does not have antagonism against them. Like, they're fine with them being there. Why did you have to do like a heist? We're gonna plan a heist to get into the vault to get the key. And get the key from Gun, and we're gonna steal it from him. We gotta do this, you go on the roof, and then you guys sneak in, and we're gonna get into the vault. And I'm just been like, why don't you just walk in and tell them what's going on? Why do you have to, like, get in disguise and go in? That actually doesn't make any sense. Like, part of the heist is, hey, I'm gonna, like, I have these little hologram disguises that Tails gave us, and I'm gonna pretend to be my sister, the black stereotype, the female black stereotype sister. And I'm gonna pretend to be her husband, who was in the second movie, and they got married. We're gonna pretend to be those guys. And it's like, hey, yeah, that's a good point. Why don't you just call them and ask them to help you? Why do you need to break into Gun? Why do you need to do like a heist movie scene breaking into Gun? That actually doesn't make any sense. The movie does not establish why they need to do this. The movie does not establish why none of them could just pick up a phone and be like, hey guys, Eggman's gonna come steal the key. You should watch out for that. And then like they get in. I'm kind of skipping a lot, but because I'm gonna loop back around to this, like they do not establish why letting Gunn keep the key is a bad thing. Like I thought there was gonna be some kind of thing where like the white bitch character is like she has her own agenda or something. Like, oh, we can't let her keep the key, otherwise she's gonna use the Eclipse cannon for her own devices. But like, no, nothing like that happens. So like, why is Gunn keeping the key a bad thing? They had the key this whole time. Them keeping the key is the status quo. Why do you need to steal the key from Gunn? They actually don't explain that at all. Why is Gunn keeping the key bad? Just let them keep it. They're holding it down. What? It's so dumb. So they have this whole scene where it's like, okay, you're gonna break in and do the thing, and I'm gonna be over here and then like look out because there's lasers and they'll scorch you up, and there's a force field around the building. And I'm like, there's no way that that's okay. Like the way they portray the force field around the building is like if you walk into the force field, you disintegrate and die. And I'm like, there's no universe where like that's just in London, one of the biggest tourist cities on the planet. Like they turn that on and some kid who's like fucking on their scooter runs into that and disintegrates in front of their parents. Holy shit, dude. Like there's no way. Like, if the force field was like, oh, you splat right against it, which would actually make sense because of something that happens later. If they portrayed the force field as like, oh, there's a force field, you just face plant into it, that would be fine. But no, they establish that the force field is you run into the force field, you disintegrate and die. That's what the force field does. They show that happening. And it's like, that is so insane that you have a building that can just bloop around it, a disintegrating force field in London, one of the biggest tourist cities on the planet. A child is 100% gonna die walking into that force field. What the fuck? That's retarded. And then later, like, the force field is up, and then Knuckles just crashes through it and breaks through the force field. It's like, what? If he could do that the whole time, why didn't he just do that? So they have this whole plan where it's like, okay, you gotta sneak in. Oh my fucking god. So, Human and Diversity Vagina have hologram disguises where they pretend to be fat black lady stereotype from the first two movies and guy from Fast and Furious, I think. I don't know. Or something. And they go into Gunn and they're like, hey, we gotta get in here. And they're like, no, we're on lockdown. And they're like, oh no, they must have higher security because Shadow broke out. And it's like, yeah, why is that a bad thing? I thought you don't want Shadow to get the key. And they have higher security to make sure he doesn't get the key. And you also don't want... Why is Gunn having the key a bad thing? They actually never explained that. Like, why are you breaking in to get the key from Gunn? Why is getting the key away from Gunn important to you? Movie? Hello? So, the black stereotype lady is a black stereotype, and then they get in, and like, okay, we're sneaking in, turn off the disguise. Why would you do that? Why would you turn off the disguise, though? And so then she turns on the disguise to become the white woman, which is... It's interesting that they have the black lady turn on a disguise and become a white lady. I'm not gonna unpack that. but that's a scene that happens, is a black woman disguises herself as a white woman. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, they wouldn't do that the other way around. Ooh, they wouldn't do that the other way around. They would not do that the other way around. So then it's like, okay, use facial recognition because you're disguised as the white lady to get into the room. And they're like, oh no, the actual white lady's coming. And then there's a really not funny scene where, like, boy, the computer-generated graphics in this movie are bad. Where he's, like, trying to turn on the hologram, and it's, like, making his face look funny. And it's like, wow. Did you not give the computer graphics guys, like, more than a weekend to work on this? What the fuck? Why does it look so bad? And then he's like, oh, so, and he disguises himself as the Fast and Furious guy. It's like, ma'am. And it's like, hey, yeah, why did you turn off the disguise? I feel like you could have just left that on, just in case. Here's another question. Why did you need a disguise? And if you needed a disguise, why did you turn off the disguise? Surely there was the possibility that you would run into other gun people while walking the hallways, and presumably you should want to keep the disguise on in case they see you. But no, the characters are dumb because the 40-year-old unfunny screenwriter had a funny idea for a scene where he would try and turn on the hologram disguise and it would make his mouth all big and his ears all big and his face all big. And it took him a few tries to get it turned on right. And it was funny, except it wasn't. And it looked really bad. So then they get into the server room and they're cutting back from the heist to show Sonic on the Ferris wheel, the London Ferris wheel, and he's like, "Oh, I'm bored," because Ben Schwartz's Sonic is fucking awful, just an insufferable, unfunny, bad voice acted character. And then Knuckles is on Big Ben, and he's like, "I will break the glass." And it's like, "Oh no, you in case of emergency break the glass." It's like, "No, the glass is gonna get broken." No, but just in case of emergencies. Oh, that glass, I am gonna break it. And it's like back and forth. It's like, wow, this isn't funny at all. And then it cuts back to Shadow on the crab ship, and they're watching. He's watching the Spanish soap opera now. And in the Spanish soap opera, the two twin brothers are gonna fight each other to the death to win the heart of Esmeralda or whatever her name is. And Shadow's watching and being like, Esmeralda should kill both of them. She is not a prize to be won. And it's like, great line read, Keanu. Oh my god, there's the scene where, like, Jim Carrey are, like, in London. Like, okay, we're gonna get in there. We're gonna get in there and steal the thing. Shadow, you go with Agent Stone. Go hang out in the crab. They have a crab ship. And Agent Stone's like, okay, Shadow, come on, we'll make guacamole. And Shadow goes, revenge guac.
Oh.
And it's like, that's funny, but not for the reason the movie thinks it's funny. That's funny, but not for the reason the movie thinks it's funny.
No.
And so in the background, Agent Stone's making guacamole. And he's like, Shadow, Jesus fucking Christ, would you calm the fuck down? Holy shit. And Shadow's like, no, we're gonna destroy the world. And Agent Stone's like, I'm sorry? What was that? You're gonna do what now? And then, like, it cuts back and they're in the server room. And they're like, okay, we gotta put the USB, Tails' USB into the server on the server room. It plugged in. Oh, it's not registering. It didn't. Here, take it out. I'm not making this up. This is what happens in the movie. And then Tails goes, come on, guys. There's no scientific evidence for that. And they plug it in, and then it works. Because they blew on it. And you go, like, that's some 90s solutions. That's some 90s technology solutions. Yeah, the best decade.
Oh man.
I want you to know.
Oh,
Sometimes I exaggerate. Like earlier when I was like Agent Stone going like, "Man, Shadow, shut the fuck up." That was me exaggerating. I am not exaggerating. They goes like, "Yeah, the best decade, the 90s." And it's like, oof, I feel like that was improv.
They went on strike to get paid more to write that.
Yep, the movie had to be postponed because the screenwriters, and the screen actors both wanted more money, and this is what we get from it.
Just so you know.
They get more money for that now. They won. They won the strike, and that's what they get. That's what we get. That's what we get for them winning the strike. Holy fucking shit. So then, like, they hey, there's another USB, and it's Eggman's USB. He got here before us. And then Tails, like, finds out, like, oh, I'm gonna hack into their ship. And now I've hacked into the crab ship. And somehow, Tails hacking the crab ship gives him access to London's sewer system. And so he...
I don't know what I thought you were gonna say, but not that.
And he turns on, like, the drainage pipes of London's sewer system, and that, like, flushes the crab away. And it's like, haha, fuck you guys. You forgot to flush. Once again, not exaggerating. So then, we go back to Jim Carrey with Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and it's not funny. And it's just scenes of Jim Carrey with Jim Carrey not being funny, and they get into the room with the lasers, because it's a heist movie, so there's a room with lasers, and if the lasers touch you, you die, it burns you to death, because of the lasers. They're burn you, kill you lasers. And Jim Carrey's wearing spandex. This is important. It's important to note that in this scene, Jim Carrey is wearing skin-tight spandex.
It's incredibly important.
It is, because they're going like, okay, lasers. And then they go into the lasers, and the skin-tight spandex suits that Jim Carrey is wearing reflect the lasers so that they don't die from the lasers. And so they're like, yep, now we're immune to the lasers. Except their heads are not covered by the spandex. Their bodies, like, from here down, are covered by the spandex, but their heads are completely exposed and could be sliced into pieces by the lasers. And they just aren't for some reason. And so then Jim Carrey goes, we could just dance right through. And then Jim Carrey says, is that a challenge? And so then Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey have a dance scene. Like...
Again. They did that in the second one.
I think they did in the first one, too. They have a scene where Jim Carrey in an old suit are dancing, and the lasers are reflecting off of them. It's like a disco dance scene, and they're lip syncing to the licensed music song that is playing in the movie, and they're dancing, and it goes on. I am not kidding. For like minutes. It's like a music video where they play the entire song, and Jim Carrey, meaning Jim Carrey and then a body double who is not Jim Carrey, and then they CG'd his face into it later, are dancing in the laser room with the lasers reflecting off of their skin-tight spandex bodies to make like a light show. And then the dance scene concludes with Jim Carrey, like, picking up Jim Carrey and holding him up like this, like it's an ice skating routine, and the lasers are not hitting their heads. And then Jim Carrey wraps his legs around Jim Carrey, and they spin around in a circle, and the lasers are not hitting their heads. Their heads, which are exposed and could be hit by the lasers. But it's funny because Jim Carrey's dancing, and it's a dance scene with the dance. Oh, you're right. There was a dance scene in Sonic 2. I'm stupid because Sonic and Tails danced in Sonic 2.
Right.
But in the first Sonic movie, it was Jim Carrey who had the dance scene. So now this third movie has another dance scene with Jim Carrey with a licensed song, and it's really, really bad. Jesus fucking Christ, this movie. So after the dance scene with Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey is over, they get into the room with the key, and there's the key. It's in the vault with the key. Kind of weird, right? That the key is inside the vault. I just realized that. That's kind of funny. And they're gonna go get the key. And Sonic's like, I can't wait anymore. I'm going. Gotta go fast. And so then he runs through London. He's like, I gotta get there. I can't waste any time. But then he also wastes a lot of time by, like, doing touristy London things, like running around tourist thing and going over the bridge. And, I don't remember anything except, like, the ending, which was he goes through Buckingham Palace, and then he runs out of Buckingham Palace wearing, like, the crown and the royal, like, cape and the scepter, and he like pretends to sip some tea, and he's like, oh, I'm pretending to sip the tea, but also I gotta get there as fast as I can. It's like, God, this version of Sonic is awful. Sonic is the worst part of these fucking movies. He is so fucking bad. He's so annoying and stupid and self-contradictory, and Ben Schwartz is awful at voice acting him. It's just awful. Like, I gotta hurry and get there as fast as I can. And I'm like, hey, remember how you could freeze time at will? Remember how in the first movie, in the bar scene, you froze time? I feel like you could do that. And he's running, I gotta get there before the force field gets up, but also I can run through Buckingham Palace. Uh-oh, cheerio, look out, I'm coming through. Oh, I got the Queen's hat on, sip, sip. It's like, which is it, buddy?
Which is it, Sonic?
Which is it, Sonic? I feel like you could freeze time at will, by the way. Anyway, so he's like, I'm gonna make it. Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. And then Tails grabs him and flings him through, and he's like, I made it. So then he runs through, and then, like, for like a split second, he's running through Gun HQ, and it looks like everything is frozen in time. I'm like, so he can do that? Why doesn't he do that all the time? Anyway. It's, like, so fast, but it's still so retarded. But anyway, so then he gets there, and Jim Carrey are walking into the vault, and Sonic's like, no, stop. Duh. And they're like, fuck you, we're doing it. And they walk in, and they're like, bleh, and they, like, the security system slams them into the ground. And Sonic's like, ha, and then the security system flings him up into the air. And he's like, whoa, why can't I run with my little footies, or whatever. Whatever fucking stupid, not funny thing he said was. And then the white bitch walks in. And the skinny white bitch is like, yeah, we have a security system to stop you. Because we knew you would come here. And our security system stops you. And I'm like, hey, yeah, it did. Why is Sonic trying to break into Gun HQ? I feel like they didn't have to be here. And in fact, Sonic ruins everything. If Sonic did not try and stop Jim Carrey from getting the key, nothing bad, he would have failed. That's what that scene is. It's like Jim Carrey walks in and he face plants, and then they would have arrested him, and that would have been it. But no, because Sonic was there, Sonic's like, oh no, now I'm here too, and she, like, spins him around. And it's like, okay, so, like, she's a bitch, but she doesn't go like, I'm gonna arrest you, Sonic. Like, she doesn't say that. She says, I'm gonna arrest Jim Carrey, but she doesn't say, I'm gonna arrest you, Sonic. Like, Sonic is not in danger in this scene. Like, they walk in and Tom and like Human and Diversity Vagina, and then Tails come in and it's like, Guns got him. And Sonic's like, okay, Knuckles, it's time to break the glass. And it's like, but why though? Why is it time to break the glass, actually? There are actually no negative consequences right now. The key is safe, and that's what you care about. You don't want Jim Carrey to get the key. That's what matters to you. So why does it matter if Gunn has the key? Who cares? You just don't want Jim Carrey to get it. So what? You won! Sonic, you actually won. Jim Carrey has been stopped. Oh. Jim Carrey has been stopped. The plot is actually over right now. But then Sonic's like, okay, Knuckles, time to break the glass. And Knuckles breaks through the force field, which disintegrates you, but for some reason he just punches through it. Okay. And then he punches through the room, and he's in there now. And he's like, yeah, I'm in here to stop this. And I'm just like, stop what? It's like driving me insane. Like, why do they want to steal the key from Gunn? There cannot possibly be anything in the 20 minutes that I missed that explains that. Like, why would Gunn keeping the key be a bad thing? Why do you, Sonic, have to get the key from Gunn? All you care about is that Jim Carrey doesn't get the key. The movie legitimately never explains this. I don't, like, Knuckles breaks in and he's like, pfft, and he, like, breaks the security system, and it makes this retarded, like, scene where now the anti-gravity security system is, like, acting all wonky and crazy. And why did you have to do that, though? Like, Gunn could have just kept the key and it would have been fine. I don't understand why you have to get the key from Gunn, actually. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so then this comedy scene where Jim Carrey is, like, doing the worm on the ground. He's like, even though he couldn't do that earlier, but now he can. To get the key, and then the skinny white bitch is also being like to get the key, and it's supposed to be funny, but then it cuts over, and the Diversity Vagina and the Human are like stuck on the ground and they can't move, and oh no, a big thing of concrete is gonna break down on top of them. That wouldn't be there if Knuckles hadn't broken through the roof, and also you wouldn't all be trapped in the situation if Knuckles hadn't broken the thing. Everything that's happening in that scene is happening because of Knuckles. And it didn't need to happen because Gunn could have just kept the key and it would have been fine. Jesus Christ. So, like, and then that's when the scene of him like going like, Sonic!
The trailer scene.
Yeah, the trailer scene where someone's like, I'm sick of people saying the humans are bad in these movies. Look at this, that's good acting. Sonic! That's the scene that's such good acting that we can't possibly criticize these human characters anymore. And then Sonic spin dashes, and he spin dashes into the concrete and saves them. And then the security system turns off. And and the skinny white bitch grabs the key and gets up and it's like, okay, lock up Jim Carrey and Eggman. And she specifically does not say lock up Sonic and them. Like, she ignores them. Like, she's like, lock down the room. And they start like pointing guns at Eggman and Jim Carrey. But specifically, the gun soldiers do not point their guns at Sonic and his family. Like, they're left alone. Why is it a bad thing if Gunn has the key? They're not antagonists towards Sonic. It actually does. It's like driving me insane. Why does Sonic not want Gun to have the key? Why is Gun keeping the key bad? Like, so much of the movie hinges on this, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh no, she's got the key. And I'm like, why is that bad? You just don't want Jim Carrey to get the key. Why does it matter if the white bitch has the key? And then Hugh Man is like, I got an idea, and it makes sure to show that he's still wearing the hologram thing. And he's like, stay here, and then he leaves. And I was like, I guess they didn't lock down the room very well.
Moments ago.
And so then white bitch is walking down the hallway, and then it's the Olive Garden guy, and it's obviously Tom using his Hugh Man using the hologram disguise to pretend to be the Olive Garden guy. And she's like, oh, you're okay. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, yeah, they didn't establish if he died or not. She's not surprised to see him, so I guess he's alive? Question mark? It actually is unclear to me if Olive Garden guy is dead or not by the end of this movie. But anyway, it's Tom pretending to be Olive Garden guy, and he's like, give me the key. She's like, I don't know about that. I'm kind of sus about this. And he's like, that's an order. And I thought, in my naivete, I thought one of two things was going to happen. Either she was going to go, no, I'm evil, and I'm gonna use the Eclipse Cannon to do bad things, and that's why Sonic taking the key from me is so important, because it turns out I'm a bad, untrustworthy person. But no, that didn't happen. Or I thought she was gonna go, I don't know, are you really the gun commander? And I thought he would be like, give me the key and then we'll go to Olive Garden. And she'd be like, okay, you're really the gun commander. But no, that didn't happen. He just goes, give me the key, that's an order. And she goes, okay, here you go. And then she's not in the movie anymore. The white bitch leaves, and then she is no longer in the film. That is the end of this character in this movie. I'm like, wow, there's no resolution to that character at all. She must have had a scene in the 20 minutes that I missed that established her not liking Sonic, and Sonic not liking her back mutually, right? And then she shows up and she's like, I knew they couldn't be trusted. And then she walks in and she's like, yeah, fuck you, Sonic. Spin you around. But then not really wanting him arrested or anything like that. Not acting as an antagonist against Sonic in any way. And then Tom tricks her into giving him the key, and then she's just not in the movie anymore. And it's like, what was the point of this character? Anyway, so then Tom walks out, and he's like, turns off the hologram disguise, and goes, guys, I got the key. And then he turns the hologram disguise back on for no reason. And unlike earlier, when he was fiddling with the hologram disguise and accidentally turned his face all into funny things, this time he, like, flicks against the hologram disguise and it turns back on without any problems and just makes him look like the Olive Garden guy. Totally normally, even though earlier he was having trouble with it. And also, why did you turn it off in the first place? And also, why did you turn it back on? If you turned it off, why did you turn it back on? For no reason. And then Shadow teleports into the room. For no reason. I feel like he could have done that, by the way. I feel like... oh my god, there's another... Okay, rewind. So before they break in, as they're, like, doing their heist plan, they're like, this sounds really complicated. Sonic, why don't you just turn Super Saiyan and go do it? And they're like, no, the Master Emerald is too powerful. We made a vow that we wouldn't use it. And it's like, that's retarded. What the fuck are you talking about? No, it isn't. That's not what happened in the previous movie. They're just going like, no, the Master Emerald's too powerful. That's dangerous. We need to hide it away because we can't use that. And it's like, Yes, you could, actually. That's stupid. That's really dumb. Actually, that's really dumb. Fast forward. Shadow teleports in. Why didn't Shadow just teleport in and steal the key? Why did Jim Carrey have to go in? Why couldn't Shadow just teleport in? He just did it. Why couldn't Shadow just teleport in and grab the key? Anyway, Shadow teleports in, and Tom is disguised as Olive Garden guy. And Shadow goes, Olive Garden guy. He doesn't say that, but the character has a name. I'm just calling him Olive Garden guy. And then Tom, as Olive Garden guy, goes, no, wait. Like, I'm not actually the Olive Garden guy. As if that would make a difference. Like, genuinely, like, you think he's gonna, like, turn off the hologram and go, like, no, I'm actually Tom, see? Like, and Shadow's gonna be like, oh, okay, never mind, we're cool, buddy. Cool, buddy, okay, later. Like, no, I feel like what happens afterwards is still gonna be the same thing anyway. So then Shadow punches Tom, and, like, he's like, oh, you punched me, and I'm dead now. And then the hologram turns off, and Shadow's like, oh, that wasn't the guy I thought he was. Huh. Oops. And it's like, man, Shadow's so fucking hot in this movie. He's like stupid sexy. It's like crazy how hot Shadow is in this movie. Anytime he's not talking.
Yes.
And he looks and is like, oh no. I hurt someone that I don't recognize. And I feel bad about that.
Oh no.
And then Sonic runs in and he's like, oh no, Tom! Oh no, speak to me, Tom! Oh no! And I'm like, wow, is the movie really expecting us to believe this? Like, really? Like, that would be so cool if he died, but I can't believe you expect me to believe that he's dead right now. That's really dumb.
That'd be metal as fuck.
I would be happy if he was dead, don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for that, but I know that's not what's happening. And then Shadow sees Sonic being like, oh no, Tom, and he flashes back to Maria, and he's like, oh no, Maria, and he feels bad. And then Sonic's like, what did you do? And it's like, what is this? Like, what the fuck do you think? And then Shadow's like, what, I had to. And then he teleports away. Like, great writing, by the way. And then he teleports away. And then everyone else runs in and like, oh no, Tom!
As if anyone gives a fat turtle.
Yeah, who
shit.
fucking cares? I'm just like, I really don't care. I hope he's dead. Ooh, anyway. So then later, like, they're wheeling it, like, they leave, and then they're wheeling out Tom on a stretcher into an ambulance. And it's like, oh, so Gunn doesn't have a problem with you guys at all. Like, you guys all just left Gunn headquarters, and they let you get onto an ambulance, and nobody has a problem with you presumably either calling an ambulance into the building and having paramedics come in and get Tom, or you carrying Tom out of the building and putting him on an ambulance stretcher. Either one of those two scenarios happened, and Gunn were fine with it. So Gunn is not a problem to Sonic in this movie. So I ask for the last time, I promise, why did they have to steal the key from Gunn? Why couldn't they just work with Gunn? Why did they think they had to steal the key from Gunn? Gunn clearly did not have a problem with them. Why was Gunn keeping the key a bad outcome for Sonic? What the fuck is this movie? So anyway, Jim Carrey gets the key and he puts it in the fucking Eclipse cannon, and they ride up in the Eclipse cannon, and it's like, hey, this sort of looks like the Ark, you guys. Isn't that cool? And I'm like, not close enough? No. It's like, nope, no. You don't get points for that, movie. You don't get points for that. And they're like, yeah, we got the Ark now, and we're gonna do it. And then Agent Stone calls Jim Carrey, and he's like, Jim Carrey, I think they have nefarious intentions. Shadow said something earlier. They're hiding things from us. And Jim Carrey's like, fuck you. He says, unsubscribed, blocked, and reported. That is the line of dialogue Jim Carrey has in this movie. He goes, you were always jealous of me and my grandpa. Fuck you, Agent Stone. You're fired. Hang up. And it sounds like, no. No, Jim Carrey. And then Jim Carrey's like, I got my grandpa. I love my grandpa. Family. And then Shadow's like, I'm feeling kind of bad about killing that guy that I didn't recognize. I feel like maybe blowing up the planet's a bad idea, Gerald. And then Gerald goes like, no, because remember they killed Maria. And Shadow goes like, oh yeah, okay. So they have a flashback showing Maria getting killed, and she doesn't get shot. She doesn't get shot. Fuck you. Fuck everyone. I knew it. I knew she wouldn't get shot. I fucking knew she wouldn't get shot. They shoot explosive video game barrels, and the video game barrels blow up, and that's what kills her. I fucking knew she wouldn't get shot. I fucking knew they wouldn't have the fucking balls. They shoot an explosive barrel, and the explosive barrel kills Maria. That doesn't fucking count. That doesn't fucking count. That doesn't fucking count. The child was not shot. Fuck you. And then Shadow remembers, oh no, Maria died. Oh no, sad. So then he's like, rah! It's like, great acting, Keanu. Great acting, Keanu Reeves. And then he runs around and he powers the Eclipse cannon up. And Gerald's like, he's using his chaos energy to power the Eclipse cannon up. Ivo, he's using the chaos energy. And I'm like, I fucking hate this movie. I fucking hate this movie, dog. Holy fucking shit. Ivo, by the way. So then it's like, now I'm gonna blow up the planet and it's gonna kill everyone. We're all gonna die. And Jim Carrey's like, what? What did you say? I'm sorry? I don't want to die, though. I want to rule the planet. Blowing it up is a bad thing. And Gerald's like, no, I'm going to blow it up, though. They took everything from me. Humanity deserves to die. They killed Maria. And Jim Carrey's like, but you have me now. And Jim Carrey's like, you're no Maria. Duh, 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 duh. Oh, by the way, Jim Carrey's ringtone is I Am the Eggman. So, I Am the Eggman played for 2 seconds when the phone rang.
800,000.
I am the Eggman. Like, but it wasn't even that. It was like the beginning. I got the master plan. Like the instrumental leading into the song. That was his ringtone. And it played for 1 second, by the way. So anyway, so Jim Carrey goes like, oh no, my grandpa. This is the part of the movie where grandpa's... No, grandpa. The family that I thought I found, but then it turned out to be a bad family.
Lost it.
Oh no, my family. My family. And Jim Carrey's like, I really don't want to blow up the earth though, so... Nah. Oh, and then it cuts back, and Sonic's like, he killed Tom. I'm mad. Knuckles, give me the Master Emerald. I'm gonna use it, cause I'm mad. And then Knuckles is like, no, we made a vow to not use the Master Emerald.
In between movies.
In between movies, unless it was in the 20 minutes that I missed, but I seriously doubt it. Or it might have happened in the Knuckles TV show, for all I fucking know. Who fucking knows? No, we made a vow. The Master Emerald's bad and we can't use it. And it's like, no, it isn't. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you used it in the second movie and it was fine. Like, where is this coming from? Where is this drama about, like, you can't use the Master Emerald, Sonic? It's too powerful. It's dangerous. Like, where's this coming from? Oh, it's so that there can be a dramatic moment where Sonic's like, I'm mad. Give me the Master Emerald. And Uncle's like, no, you can't use the Master Emerald. And Tails like, no, guys, calm down. And Sonic's like, give me the Master Emerald. And Knuckles like, no, I will not give you the Master Emerald. They're turning on their eyeball superpowers that they have. I'm like, wow, are they really gonna have Sonic and Knuckles fight in this fucking movie? But then no, they don't. So I'm like, well, what was the point of that then? Yes. Actually, what's the point of that then? It's like, okay, I'll give you the Master Emerald. Great scene. Oh, okay. Great scene, by the way. Well, then. But I gave the Master Emerald to a great warrior, and you're gonna have to get through him to get it. And like the obvious setup. You probably don't even, like, you haven't seen the movie and you probably get it. Like, it turns out it's the retarded mall cop. The retarded mall cop is the one that Knuckles gave the Master Emerald to. And it's like, this is the real problem with this movie, is the tonal whiplash that constantly happens. Like, it's going from, oh, Gerald and Jim Carrey are gonna kill everyone on the planet, and Sonic is fueled by revenge and anger because Tom got killed. And he's really mad. And now, like, oh no, our friendship is breaking down. There's drama. Oh no, Sonic is flying off the handle with anger and turning against his friends. Sonic the Hedgehog is going crazy, angry with vengeance, and turning against his friends out of anger. And I'm turning against this movie out of anger. Because that's not Sonic. I had to bite the phone.
Had to.
Oh, God fucking damn it. So they're going from, oh, our friendship is breaking down because Sonic's mad, to, oh, Wade is on the roof, the retarded mall cop, he's on the roof playing hockey with the Master Emerald, and it's funny, ha, Knuckles said it was a great warrior who was protecting the Master Emerald, but it's Wade, ha, and he's playing hockey with it, ha, and then Sonic shows up, and he's like, hey, give me the Master Emerald, and Wade's like, no way, I have to protect it with my life, and Sonic just grabs the Master Emerald, and he's like, well, I tried. It's like, really cool Marvel movie writing. Gotta love the Marvel movie writing of, we can't let an actual emotion exist on the screen. We have to ruin it with bad humor. Yep. With humor that nobody could possibly find funny. Mm-hmm. Nobody could possibly think this is funny. Like, let's undercut this dramatic moment of emotional impact of like, oh no, the Team Sonic friendship dynamic is breaking down because Sonic's really mad because his dad died. And now he's going crazy and he wants to use the kill you button that they agreed they wouldn't use, even though that doesn't make any sense. But, oh, it's funny because Wade's playing hockey. Fucking piece of shit movie, I swear to fucking God. It's so fucking bad. Anyway, so then he grabs the Master Emerald, and the Master Emerald has the Chaos Emeralds in it, and they didn't really establish that. Maybe it happened in the Knuckles show, but like at the end of Sonic 2, Sonic just sends the Chaos Emeralds up into the air, and then Knuckles like picks up the pieces of the Master Emerald and forms it back together, and the Chaos Emeralds are not inside of it. So, like, when did that happen? Did it happen in the 20 minutes of the movie I missed? I'm betting that it didn't. Did it happen in the Knuckles show? I'm betting that it didn't. All that was in the Knuckles show was a weird scene where they go, hey, Jews were a thing. Remember the Jews? That's what happened in the Knuckles show, as far as I'm aware. Jesus.
So then he gets the Master Emerald, and the Master Emerald has the Chaos Emeralds in it, and he becomes supersonic, and he's like, I'm mad, and he flies away because he's supersonic, and he's mad at supersonic, and he's gonna go and stop them. And he, like, crashes into the Eclipse Cannon. I'm not even gonna call it the Ark, because it's bullshit. He crashes into the space station, and, like, punches a hole through the glass, and I'm like, oh, shit! And, like, they're all gonna get sucked out from atmospheric decompression, but then a fucking safety panel comes down and, like, stops that. I'm like, oh, fuck this movie. But, like, Sonic busts through and grabs Shadow and busts through the other side, and, like, now they're falling through space. And Supersonic's, like, holding Shadow, and they're going into the atmosphere of the planet. And he's like, fuck you, Shadow! And Shadow's like, now you know my pain. Fuck you. Keanu Reeves, ladies and gentlemen. And he's like, and it's like, it's like an inversion of when, like, Shadow died, because now Sonic is crashing Shadow into the planet. Also, they can breathe and talk in space. They're Powerpuff Girls. They can breathe and talk in space for some reason. So then they crash into the planet, and then Sonic's like, where are you? I'm gonna beat you up. And then Shadow, like, punches him and punches the Chaos Emeralds out of him. And that doesn't bother me because Knuckles did that in Sonic 3.
True.
So it's okay. I'm okay with that. So then he punches the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic, and Sonic's like, oh, and Shadow's like, oh shit, oh, I'm gonna get the Chaos Emeralds out too. And so then they both go and they grab for the Chaos Emeralds, and both of them are reaching for the Chaos Emeralds, and then they both get the Chaos Emeralds, and then Sonic turns Supersonic, and then Shadow turns Super Shadow, and then they start fighting, and I'm like, oh, that's actually awesome. Supersonic and Super Shadow fighting each other? That's actually sick as hell. I'm so cool with that. That's like the only other part of this movie that I liked. I like the scene with Maria, and I like Supersonic versus Super Shadow. That's actually sick as fuck. I'm down for that shit. We ain't never seen that in the games. That's awesome. I'm cool with that. And the way they fight is so cool. They're like punching each other across the continents, across the planet. They're like Dragon Ball Z fighting, and it's fucking dope. And then they cut away from the fight, and they go back to, oh, let's see what Jim Carrey's doing. Oh, he's being Jim Carrey. What? No, we're watching Jim Carrey now. This is Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey is very funny. Are you seeing how funny Jim Carrey is? Look at how funny Jim Carrey is. Okay, fine. We paid attention for Jim Carrey for long enough for the budget to get recouped. Let's go back to the computer-generated characters fighting. And it's like, yeah, they're fighting. And then, like, they crash into, like, Greece. Like a Greek Parthenon, and Sonic's like, fuck you, you killed my dad. And then Keanu Reeves has a scene, and Keanu Reeves says, where are your friends? You abandoned them and came to fight me alone. You are fueled by revenge. You made the same choice that I did. The choice of revenge. You're not a hero at all, Sonic. You just want revenge like me. You don't care about them. You left them behind to come fight me. Even the one, what was his name? Tom? And Sonic's like, grr, I'm really mad that you said the Tom. And he punches Shadow so hard, and he punches him so hard he turns off the Super Shadow, and he punches him and he goes all the way to the moon, and he lands on the moon. And then Sonic's like, grr, now we're on the moon and I'm gonna punch you so good, mister. And Shadow's like, do it! Do it! Finish me! hit me right here. And then he points to his chest and is like, hit me right here. And it shows Shadow pointing to his chest. And I'm like, oh my God, he's so hot.
Punch me in the boom.
Oh my God, my sexual chest fluff. And then Sonic looks and he's like, oh no, you're pointing to your chest. That reminds me of earlier in the movie when Tom pointed at my chest. I was like, here's the reason
Show me on the dollar where he pointed at you.
Here's the reason me missing those 20 minutes didn't matter, because I know exactly what happened. Is they were in a cave where Sonic was like, this is all shit they showed in the trailers. They were in a cave where Sonic was living, where he drew crayon drawings of Longclaw on the wall. And he's like, boy, I'm sad that Longclaw is fucking dead. And Tom was like, yeah, that pain sure is sad when you miss someone that you love, but don't let that pain change who you are. And it flashed back to that scene. And then it flashes forward to Sonic being like, girl, I'm gonna punch you. No. He wouldn't want this. I'm not gonna let the pain change who I am. And he gets up and he walks away from Shadow and the Supersonic turns off. And now they're both just not Supersonic or Super Shadow. They're just regular Sonic and regular Shadow. And they're on the moon, in space, breathing and talking. And it's like, oh, they can do that because they're aliens, I guess.
I guess.
They don't need air or an atmosphere. I feel like there was a very significant scene in Sonic 2 where Sonic drowned, and it was dramatic and impactful. Why is it that Sonic can drown in water, but Sonic can breathe in space without being supersonic? Like, he's just in space on the moon breathing and talking. The moon, which has no air,
Yet.
but he can drown in water, which has no air. What? Does Sonic need air or not? Because according to this movie, Sonic does not need air. But according to Sonic 2, the movie that came out before this, Sonic does need air. So which is it? What? So then the scene from Powerpuff Girls, the movie, happens where they're on the moon and they're sad. You know, that scene.
Old chestnut.
That old scene from Powerpuff Girls, the movie, where they're on the moon and they're sad. And Sonic sits down and he's sad because he remembers that Longclaw died and Tom died. Probably not. Obviously not. But, like, I'm sad because people died. And then Shadow's like, why didn't you finish me? You won the fight. You had me at your mercy. You could have killed me. And then Sonic's like, because killing you wouldn't make anything different. It wouldn't bring back Longclaw. And Shadow's like, who the fuck is Longclaw? And Shadow's like, oh, but I was sad and I wanted revenge, but you were sad and you want revenge and you didn't take revenge, but I was sad and I wanted revenge. What? And it's like I knew it. It's just as stupid as I was expecting it to be. Shadow stops being evil because Sonic said, hey, stop being evil. Being evil is no good. It's like actually just as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Sonic literally goes like, I was sad, but I shouldn't let that pain change me. And Shadow's like, oh yeah, I guess that is basically what Maria said too.
Credits.
I guess that's right. Good point, Sonic. I didn't think about it like that, even though I did. And he's like, Sonic's like, man, I miss Longclaw. She's dead. Shadow goes, who the fuck is Longclaw? But then he says like, what do you do? Does the pain ever go away? I've been living with this pain for so long, it defined me. Does the pain ever go away, Sonic? And Sonic goes, no. I'm like, good answer, but fuck, wow. A little too real, Jesus. Ruthless. Like, literally, I was like, well, I'm happy you said that, but wow, fuck, I can't believe you said that.
Damn, Sonic.
No, the pain doesn't go away, but like, you
That's it.
yeah, you just fucking have to deal with it. But you remember the love. I remember the love that I had with Longclaw. Shadow's like, who the fuck is Longclaw?
Fuck, again, I stress. Who the fuck is that?
And then Shadow goes, and then Keanu Reeves goes, the light can still shine even when the star is gone.
Oh.
Ah, reincorporation! Screenwriting! And it's like, this movie is fucking terrible, dude! This movie fucking sucks ass! Holy shit! And then the sun rises, and they're like, oh, the sun! Whoa! And then they look over, it's like, oh yeah, the eclipse cannon's gonna fucking kill everyone. We should deal with that.
We were dealing with feelings on the moon.
Yeah, we were dealing with Powerpuff feelings on the moon. We should go deal with the eclipse cannon. That's a problem. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna do it. And then they both turn Supersonic and Super Shadow. And then they're like, gotta go fast. And then Shadow goes, please don't tell me you have a catchphrase. And then Sonic goes, yeah, and everyone loves it. And then Live and Learn starts playing.
Oh my god.
I was wrong. Live and Learn is in the movie. And so much more of it was in the movie than I thought it would be.
Wow.
Like, yeah, live and learn. And then they fly away from the moon, and then the song stops. So, a whole 10 seconds. A whole 10 seconds of Live and Learn, baby. You got me. You got me, Sonic 3, the movie. Live and Learn was in the movie.
Isn't that the one that the guy's suing over?
Yeah.
Oh.
People are theorizing. People are theorizing that,
He
like,
likes to do.
Paramount paid him correctly for
Yeah, because he
the
gave
movie.
permission for
Yeah.
the movie.
And he's like, people are thinking like they paid him, and he went, oh shit,
Yeah, exactly.
I was supposed to get paid?
Yeah.
Shit, Sega owes me a lot of money.
Exactly.
I'm assuming, like, people are assuming that's happened. I'm like, yeah, that probably,
Tracks.
that checks out. I feel like that's just gonna get settled out of court.
Yep.
So anyway, then Live and Learn stops playing, and it goes back to Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, with Jim Carrey, featuring Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey are having a fight scene. And no, it comes back, and Gerald has Jim Carrey bent over his knee, and he's spanking him.
Okay.
And he's saying, don't be bad to your grandpa. I'm spanking you. And it's funny, because it's Jim Carrey. Allegedly, it's funny.
It would be something if it were like Shadow.
I would love to see Shadow getting spanked, but unfortunately...
Well, that's not where I was going, but I'm listening.
So then they have a fight scene where, like, they have, like, hologram hands, and they're hitting each other with the hologram hands and pretending to be a scorpion and a praying mantis or something, and it's not funny.
Why?
And it goes on for a very long time.
But why?
I don't know, but it goes on for a very long time, and I don't understand what's happening, and it's not funny. And it concludes with Jim Carrey beating Jim Carrey, and he's gonna kick him out of the spaceship. And he's like, I'm gonna kick you out of the spaceship now. I opened the airlock, and you're gonna get sucked out of it, but I am fine. Even though there's an open air opening and a vacuum is being sucked out because it's space. And Jim Carrey's like, I'm gonna kill you now, Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey's like, can I have a last word? And Jim Carrey's like, what is there? Are you going to say you love me? And Jim Carrey goes, no. And it's supposed to be funny because it's Jim Carrey, but it's not funny at all. So then he kicks him down and he goes, whoa, and he's gonna die or whatever. And then Jim Carrey's like, haha, I won. I'm gonna activate robots to go fight Supersonic and Super Shadow. And then Supersonic and Super Shadow are like, oh, there's robots and not the Bio-Lizard. Let's go fight those robots and not the Bio-Lizard. And then Supersonic and Super Shadow fight a bunch of robots, which aren't the Bio-Lizard. And I fucking hate this movie so much. Justice for the #justice for the Bio-Lizard. And so then a few more seconds of a guitar string from Live and Learn starts playing as they fight the robots. And it's like a collective total of maybe 20 seconds of Live and Learn played in the movie while they're fighting robots. That's the big final action scene, is they're fighting a bunch of robots as Supersonic and Super Shadow. And it's like, why? Like, is anyone under the impression that this is like a threat to them? He kind of buried the lead with that Supersonic versus Super Shadow fight. That was that was awesome. He kind of buried the lead on that. So anyway, they fight the robots, and it's really dumb that they're fighting the robots at all, honestly. They could have just bowled right through the robots, but no, they waste a lot of time fighting those robots. So anyway, Jim Carrey is like, I won. And so then Tails flies up in the background, and he's carrying Jim Carrey. And he's like, oh, they opened a ring into the spaceship. Why didn't they do that earlier? Why are they doing that now and not earlier when they were arguing on Earth about the Master Emerald? Why did it take them so long to do that? It presumably, Tails and Knuckles watched Sonic go through a ring to get the Master Emerald and then turn Supersonic and then go. And then all of that happened in the movie where they were fighting and like Tails and Knuckles weren't there. So presumably Tails and Knuckles were just in London being like, wow, he really did leave, huh? Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Oh, hey, do you think maybe we should open up like a ring and go up to the space station and stop it? Oh, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that. Bloop. It took them a really long time to realize that they could and should do that. So then Tails flies in, and like, fuck me, this movie is so bad. So Tails flies in, and he's carrying Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey is like, I'm gonna stick something up your butt, Jim Carrey. And then he sticks the quill, the electric quill, up Gerald's butt. And it makes him go, whoa! You stuck that up my butt? And then he like flies up into the chaos energy. And then he just goes, and then the Gerald's dead. And it's as unceremonious as I described it. He literally just goes like, oh my butt! And then he just like disintegrates. It's like, yeah, he's dead now. That's how they killed him. That's how they kill Gerald Robotnik in this movie. They stick a thing up his butt, and he goes, whoa! And then he just goes, and he just disintegrates. That's how they kill Gerald. Great movie. I'm not mad at all. I'm not seething with hatred at all. So, then they're like, okay, well, let's turn off the laser. And they go like, well, we can't turn off the laser. And it's like, why not, though? But they can't turn off the laser. So they gotta steer the laser away from the Earth and stop it from being pointed at the Earth. And so they start turning it to steer it away from the Earth, but it's too late and it fires. And the laser fires and goes, "Bwah, I'm a fire in my laser." And then Supersonic and Super Shadow jump in front of the laser and stop it. Like, oh, we're Supersonic and Super Shadow. We're stopping the laser from the Eclipse cannon. Duh, 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 duh. And then they're steering the laser away from the planet. And they're going like, duh. Oh, we gotta stop the laser. We gotta stop the laser. Steer the ship away from the laser. Steer the laser away. And then Sonic goes like, oh no, I'm losing power. Duh, duh, duh. And then he loses power and he goes, whoa. And he like falls back. And he's gonna fall into the planet. But then they successfully steer the laser away, and it's not pointing at the planet anymore. Yay, they save the planet. And then they slice through the moon. And they go like, ooh, oh no, we sliced through the moon with the laser. Oops, uh-oh. That's the joke. It's a joke. In Sonic Adventure 2, when Eggman blew up the moon on purpose, he was like, haha, fuck you. And it was this really, actually, genuinely terrifying sequence of, like, cosmic destruction.
It definitely would have a huge impact.
Where, like, we see from the perspective of people on Earth as the fucking moon is blown up. And then a countdown timer appears on the fucking screen as Eggman is laughing evilly, and it's like legitimately terrifying and existentially horrifying, and like one of Eggman's most badass moments in the franchise. And in the movie, they did it by accident. They go like, oops, oh no, fuck this movie. So then Sonic's falling, and he's like, oh, I'm falling to the atmosphere. And I'm like, is Shadow gonna save him? No. And Tails like, I gotta go save Sonic. Give me the ring, Knuckles, so I can go save Sonic. And Knuckles is like, okay, here's the ring. Basketball! And then he throws him out. And I guess, oh, Tails can breathe in space too. Okay. Tails and Knuckles and Sonic and Shadow can all just breathe in space. I feel like there was a scene in Sonic 2 where Knuckles and Sonic were gonna drown. I guess they would actually have been fine because they don't need to breathe. There was a scene in Sonic 2 where Sonic and Knuckles were going to drown, but I guess they would have been fine because Sonic 3 establishes that they can breathe in space. And, like, they're fine. They don't need to breathe. Anyway, and so then there's drama like Tails, oh no, I'm gonna save you, Sonic. And then I'm sitting there like, why is this happening, actually? They just showed that they can survive atmospheric re-entry like 2 seconds ago. That's how the Sonic and Shadow fight started, is Sonic like grabbed Shadow and like dragged him into the atmosphere and like crashed, like fucking body slammed him into the planet Earth. And Shadow was fine. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Why is there all this drama about like, oh, I'm Tails and I gotta save Sonic with the ring because we're going into the atmosphere of the planet. And it's like, I think he'll be fine, buddy. Like, what the fuck are you, like, what? Oh my god, this movie's so bad. And so then, like, Tails like, I got you, Sonic, I'm gonna toss the ring. Oh no, I'm losing consciousness for some reason. They both survived re-entering the atmosphere, but Tails passed out for no reason. And then Knuckles is flying in. It's like, oh, he's flying in too. He can also breathe in space. And he survives the atmospheric re-entry. And he grabs the ring and he throws it. And then they go through the ring and they crash land into a cornfield and they're fine. And it's like, you were definitely already falling at terminal velocity. Going through a ring and coming out in a cornfield would not have made a difference. There was no drama to that scene whatsoever. Sonic could have just fallen through the atmosphere and Tails and Knuckles could have watched it happen and gone, oh, okay. And then Sonic could have just landed anywhere, including in the ocean, because he doesn't need to breathe. and he would have been fine. They were definitely already falling at terminal velocity. They would have, like, what the fuck? That's so stupid. So then while all that's happening, Shadow teleports onto the space station. He's like, hey, Jim Carrey, I'm not going to question why Gerald's not here. I'm just going to say, hey, we got to, like, what's going on? And Jim Carrey's like, yeah, the space station's going to blow up. Like, oh, okay. Why? Why is that happening now? I just love how Shadow doesn't question where Gerald is at all. Like, Gerald fucking died, and, like, Shadow wasn't there. He just pops in and is like, oh, hey, Jim Carrey. What's going on? And he's like, yeah, the space station's gonna blow up. And Shadow's like, hey, make it not do that. I'm gonna go outside and push it. I'll push him. And he goes outside and he pushes the space station away from Earth. And while he's doing that, Jim Carrey isn't doing anything, actually. He's not doing anything to help with that situation. He like pulls out a camera and he's like, this is my live stream. I'm gonna direct this live stream to one very special henchman. And he has a message for Agent Stone. And he's like, you were my friend, Agent Stone. You were the real found family all along. My grandpa was mean to me. I didn't appreciate you, Agent Stone. But I appreciate you now, Agent Stone. Thanks for the goat milk in the coffee. I liked it, Agent Stone. And it cuts back to Agent Stone on Earth and he's like, oh, the doctor. I'm sad because he's gonna die, but I love him and he loves me. And then Jim Carrey is like, bitches. And then the space station blows up. And Shadow and Jim Carrey are both definitely dead. Like, there's no coming back from that. He ain't gonna be in Sonic 4. He ain't gonna be in Sonic 4. There's no coming back from that. That is definitive. The space station blows up into a black hole. They're definitely dead. How do you walk that back? What the fuck? So then Sonic and Tails and Knuckles are on Earth and like, oh, I guess they died. So anyway, that's literally the emotional gravitas they treat it with. They just go like, oh. Well, we're friends, though. We're all friends. You, me, and Tails, all the three of us, we're friends. And then it cuts to them being on a camping trip again. Like, they were on it earlier, I guess, probably. I didn't see that part. Like, they're making s'mores. And they're on the camping trip and they're making s'mores. And Sonic and Knuckles ate all the s'mores. Ha ha. Tom walks out of the cart and out of the tent. I'm fine. Obviously. Like, it's fine. And then the dog barks and the bark has subtitles. And the dog said like, I also want love or something. It's like, what the fuck? The dog has subtitles?
What the fuck?
Okay. And then they're all hugging. And they're like, okay, but now we have to settle this. And they have the race. And all three of them race. And they're like, yeah, we had the race. We're Sonic heroes. Actually, if it ended with that, I would have been happy. I would have been like, yeah, Sonic heroes. But no, they just say, yeah, we're racing. Woo. And then the credits started. And they're like, oh, don't look because the sky drips from you. It'll come around and the future's ready to shine. It's like, wow, they're just straight ripping off the credits of fucking Wreck-It Ralph, huh? This is just the credits of Wreck-It Ralph. Holy shit. This song is just, when will I see you again? It's been fun, but now I've got to go. Like, it's such a ripoff. And the credits are such a ripoff of Wreck-It Ralph. But anyway, then the half credits started. And then songs like, whoa, I'm here in New York now. This is a really long after credits scene. Where like songs like, I'm in New York now. Oh, there's Metal Sonic. And then it's just Metal Sonic. I'm like,
okay.
oh,
Okay.
okay. He looks really good. What the fuck?
Oh.
Oh, here's Metal Sonic.
Well.
Okay. And then there's a lot of Metal Sonics. And they're like, oh, we're all Metal Sonic. I'm not sure if the recording's gonna stop because it's about to hit an hour.
Yep.
No, we're good. Okay. So then all the Metal Sonics are like, we're Metal Sonic, and Sonic's like, oh shit, it's Metal Sonic. And then a giant hammer comes in and blows up all the Metal Sonics. And then a hooded figure comes in and grabs the hammer. And Sonic's like, who are you? And then the hooded figure takes off the hood, and it's Amy. I'm like, oh shit. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I feel like you did some things out of order here.
Some.
I feel like you were supposed to do that before Shadow. But okay. So that's the stinger. That's the cliffhanger for the next movie is Amy. The next movie's gonna be Amy.
That's gonna be even worse.
After Shadow, Amy. And Metal Sonic. What the fuck? It was so bad. It was ridiculously bad. Like, I didn't even go into most of it, believe it or not. I just summarized the whole movie. Like, every single minute, they're just making bad jokes and bad pop culture references.
Yep.
And the voice acting is all awful except for Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Obviously. Ben Schwartz is not funny, and he's a bad voice actor.
Yes.
Keanu Reeves is a bad voice actor.
He's a bad actor.
There was no pathos. None of it was funny. None of it was funny. None of it was funny, and so much of it was trying to be funny. Oh, it was really bad. And then it was bad. It was a bad movie, and then also, ow. My little Sonic loving soul. My little Sonic loving heart. Ow. So remember when I said 99% of Gerald in this movie was bad and 1% was okay? There was 1% of Gerald acting like evil Gerald. Because there is a Gerald in the video games who exists who's evil. And I'm like, yeah, okay. There you go. There's like a scene where like oh my god, fuck. So there's a scene where like Jim Carrey as Eggman was like, hey, high five, and Joe's just like, and Jim Carrey was like, okay, you don't want a high five. And there's a scene where like Jim Carrey's like, but we're family now, Grandpapa. And Jim Carrey is like, you're not Maria. You're no Maria. Maria was the only thing that made life worth living. I'm gonna kill everyone now. And I'm like, yeah, that's tracks. That is correct. Yes, you are right.
Yes.
You're right about that part. You got that part right. One sentence. There you go. Good job. Oh my fucking god, this movie. I don't know how. Because I already didn't like Jim Carrey in these movies.
Yes.
I already didn't like Jim Carrey's Robotnik. Ivo, by the way. Ivo. They say it like 3 fucking times. Ivo. His name is fucking Evo. It's pronounced Evo Robotnik. It is pronounced Evo, because it sounds like evil. Love is evil. Evo. It's Evo, Robotnik, you sons of bitches. This movie ruins Jim Carrey Robotnik. And I already didn't like Jim Carrey's Robotnik. But, like, he's, like, crying with, like, oh, Grandpapa, oh, I'm sad and crying because I love you, Grandpapa. Let's go eat cotton candy, Grandpapa. I'm so happy and I worship you, Grandpapa. And there's literally a scene where he gets down on his hands and knees and crawls over and kisses Gerald's feet. I have to warn him. I have to warn
I
Julian.
think so.
I have to warn him.
Someone has to.
God damn it. It's so bad. It's so infuriatingly bad. As a Sonic fan, it is like a deliberate attack on me of hatred and pain against me. Ben Schwartz's Sonic is the worst part of this of the movie somehow. No, Jim Carrey is the worst part. It's like, it's bad. The whole thing is bad. Jesus fucking Christ. It's so fucking bad. It's so fucking bad, dude. That's my review. Like, it's so bad. It's the same movie as Sonic 2. It's literally the same movie. The scene, the Powerpuff Girls moon scene, where Shadow and Sonic are sitting on the moon and they're like, oh, I'm turning you around, Shadow, with my words. It's literally just the exact same scene as from Sonic 2, where Sonic and Knuckles are on the beach, and the same scene happens. Where Sonic's like, yeah, Tom said a thing, and now I'm saying the thing that Tom said, and that's convincing you. It's the same fucking movie. It's literally the same fucking movie. It's just like a good 70 to 80% not funny humans, ugly looking human characters not being funny in scenes that are supposed to be funny. And then like 30 to 20% Sonic characters being fucking annoying. And then one really cool fight scene and Maria. I really liked Maria. I'm shocked by how much I liked Maria in this movie. Shocked and appalled by how much I liked Maria in this movie. The fight between Super Sonic and Super Shadow was conceptually cool. They ruined it by cutting back to Jim Carrey, being Jim Carrey, but that was kind of fun that they had Super Sonic and Super Shadow fight. Everything else in the movie is worthless. Every single other frame of this movie that didn't have Maria in it was fucking awful. Jesus fucking Christ. These movies are awful. Why? So it lived up to all my expectations. It was exactly what I was expecting. I got the movie that I was hoping to see. So by that metric, it succeeded, I guess. Can't wait to see Sonic 4 in 2027.
It's going to be even worse.
Somehow. True. True somehow. I illegally recorded some of the movie on my phone. But this phone, which I wanted to record it on, because I wanted to record myself on this, and I thought like I could reference the movie that I recorded. But this phone has a limit to the recording time. So it stopped very, very short, very, very soon. So I did not get much of it. And I didn't want to burn up this phone's battery by recording it on this phone. Oh, I think I deleted it in frustration. And
No, here it is.
Only pain and loss. It begins over 50 years ago with a meteor crash in a quiet corner of Oklahoma. The meteorite,
So much for the dinosaurs.
a life form. The ultimate life form. Shadow's power is chaos energy, went far beyond any living creature.
Yeah, so that's basically the point I walked in. He's the Venom symbiote from Sonic 3, and he has chaos energy, and Ivo Robotnik, and fuck, all the fucking pop culture references Sonic made, which I don't even remember. Movie was bad. I didn't like it. Fuck you. Fuck these movies. God damn it.